Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. So I wanted to talk about the Indiana Pacers win against the Detroit Pistons because they finally showed up and showed out in a way, if I'm being honest. This was a game that I was really worried we were going to lose. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, being that Detroit is literally the worst team in the NBA, but the Pacers have a tendency to take games off against bad teams where they simply just don't play as hard, and then because of that, they usually end up losing. But this was a game where they didn't do that. They actually had their foot on the gas the whole time, it seemed. The best version of the Indiana Pacers is when the ball is moving around to everybody. That's how we beat the Bucks 4 times out of 5, and that's how we won against Detroit the other night. This team is going to really have to buckle down here in the second half of the season to get a really, really good playoff spot. Granted, I don't think they're going to be any lower than maybe 6th. But it's just the idea they have to take the second half of this season very seriously. I think we all agree with that. But when just coming out of the All-Star break, I really wasn't sure what to expect. Ben Mathurin seems to still be in a slump. He did hit 1 3-pointer that was pretty clutch in that game, but Ben Mathurin is just recently, shooting-wise, has not been good. But he's still a young guy. I give him a little bit of leeway. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to come out at him too hard, but this team this team wins a lot when the ball is moving and when particularly Ben Mathurin scores 15 or more points. We have a very, very good win-to-loss record when Ben Mathurin scores 15 points or more. I forget what the record is, but I know it's uber positive. But we played Dallas tonight, and I'm a little worried that we get games like this where we see it and we're that's the team. That's a team that has the number 1 offense in the NBA, where the ball is moving, everybody's scoring, right? Then you get games where I'm worried about tonight against the Mavericks, where they're going to go back to, okay, well, it's going to be the Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam show, and whoever the third guy is, Aaron Nesmith, Ben Mathurin, what have you. And while I understand why that might be the game strategy, playing against better teams, because that Pascal Siakam, Tyrese Halliburton pick and roll does need to become a thing, and it needs to become a pretty serious thing. I think it will. But I still think this team is at its best when the ball is moving around, when everybody's touching it, everybody's getting opportunity. I think that has the ability to take this team to the next level. Now, we didn't see any Jalen Smith against the Detroit Pistons. After the game, Rick Carlisle did say he was basically for emergency purposes only. But the thing is, man, one thing I think people need to start getting in their head now, before we get into the offseason, is that I think we're going to keep Obi Toppin, because the fact of the matter is he's a restricted free agent. But Jalen Smith is on a player option. He's more than likely going to decline it. And when he does decline it, somebody's going to offer him way more money than we can. I hate to say that this is probably Jalen Smith's last season as a Pacer, but the fact of the matter is he's just playing too fucking good. Somebody's going to offer him a lot of money to be a starter. And honestly, if he came back to the Pacers and wanted to be a part of our process, it would be very commendable. I just feel like Jalen Smith is going to get offered a whole lot of money by some team with cap space, or a team that could really use him. One team that immediately comes to my mind is a team that would maybe offer him a lot of money to be their starting power forward is the Detroit Pistons. They're a team that really needs a decent power forward, and they haven't had one for a while, and Jalen Smith could maybe help fill that void on that team. But it's just the idea right now, like we're in the process with this team where we're going to be seeing who is going to be on the roster next year and for years to come. Isaiah Jackson's been playing better. Granted, he didn't have a single rebound or a single assist against the Detroit Pistons, which is a little concerning, but we did win the game. So I can't be too mad about it, but there's a lot of guys on this roster that I have a feeling are not going to be here come next season. Doug McDermott is a guy that we might bring back as a vet, just on a lower deal next year, depending on what Doug McDermott wants to do, obviously. He's a guy that I think could still be a contributor to a decent team or even a contending team coming off the bench and shooting threes. For us, I don't know how well he fits the mold, but it's just the idea. The team looked a lot better against Detroit than I expected them to, because I've kind of gotten into like I guess you could say a trend, or I don't know what to call it, but I've gotten to the point where I just expect us to lose to bad teams because we simply don't play hard against them. And against Detroit, that simply wasn't the case. So hopefully they carry that over into the game tonight against Dallas. They have Luka Doncic. They do have PJ Washington now. They have Kyrie Irving. Derek Lively is still there. They just got Daniel Gafford. So this is going to be a team that's not going to really be easy to beat. Dallas is a team that is honestly overperformed than what I thought they were going to do this year. I really need a fucking haircut, man. Holy shit. Payday comes in 5 days, so we're going to have to, do something about that. But it's just the idea, man, I'm just excited. I hope this team continues to keep their foot on the gas, because we're at a point where this team just simply can't afford to take their foot off the gas. This is a team that could be as high as the second seed in the East if they just get their shit together. I feel like the 76er spot is up for grabs. I feel like even the Knicks position is up for grabs. We could be I feel like saying we could be the third seed in the East is not crazy. And I think most of you would agree with me on that. I really don't think it's crazy to say this team could be the third seed in the East. And the one thing about this team that I think is very interesting is the Aaron Nesmith-Benedict Mathurin dynamic. And the reason I say that is because Aaron Nesmith looks like he's going to be exceptionally good in the next couple of years. I mean, we just signed him to an extension, which is probably one of the biggest bargain contracts in the NBA. But the Benedict Mathurin, Aaron Nesmith thing is going to be really interesting, because Aaron Nesmith, I think, is a better player than Benedict Mathurin at the current point in time. But if Benedict Mathurin really takes the leap forward that we all want him to and hope that he does this year towards the end of the season and start of next season, I'm going to be interested to see what that starting lineup looks like. As far as I know, we know it's going to be Reese, we know it's going to be Siakam and Miles. Is that 2-3 spot going to be Ben Mathurin and Aaron Nesmith, and then Ben Shepherd's maybe our sixth man? That's a possibility. Andrew Nembhard is in that mix. TJ McConnell's in that mix. There's a couple guys on this team that I think are still going to be around next year, but I think Obi Toppin's going to be a bench player, if I'm being honest with you. Maybe, who knows? It depends on what happens with Jalen Smith. I just feel like Jalen Smith is gone. It sucks to say that, because I think he's been playing really fucking good. It's just the idea we really need almost like a third star player, unless we decide we're going to open up the pocketbook for him, which I honestly wouldn't be mad about at all. If they were to offer Jalen Smith, 4 years, $80 million, I would not be, I wouldn't protest to it. Or, maybe give him a similar deal to Aaron Nesmith, 4 years, $33 million. If he could get a deal similar to Aaron Nesmith, that would be a fucking home run. I'm just gonna call it what it is. I think we can all agree, Nesmith and Smith are, I think, about on par with how good they are. I would really, really like to see, if we could bring back Sticks, I'd be very happy. But I just feel like someone's gonna outbid us for him. So I don't know, man. You know what? TJ McConnell's a guy that I think is going to stay on the team. Miles, I think, is a lock at this point now that we traded for Siakam, and Siakam apparently just loves the guy or really wants to play with him. Maybe that'll work in our favor come free agency. It would be really nice. I'm just going to say this, right? It would be really nice if we could go into this offseason and instead of having to pay Pascal Siakam an astronomical amount of money more than what he's worth, if we could bring in Pascal Siakam for like 4 years, $120 million, that's not bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not bad. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's just the idea. Like, Tyrese Halliburton's obviously like our superstar player, but if we could fuck around, bring back Sticks on like 4 years, $33 million, maybe bring in a guy like, bring back Siakam on 4 years, 120. Like if we could make deals like that are team friendly, like contracts that are just team friendly, where we still have like cap space to operate with, that could be huge. Now, obviously, I don't know if Siakam would be willing to take a pay cut. I don't know if Jalen Smith would be willing to take less. Who knows? Jalen Smith already took less money last time, and took a less deal just to be a starter for our team. And he's not a starter anymore. So, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really know what the deal is going to be with that, because our starting lineup is pretty much solidified with 3 people at this point: Reese, Siakam, and Miles. There's really only 2 spots that are truly up for grabs. So, I even think Obi Toppin could maybe get an interesting offer from somebody that's maybe we don't let Jalen Smith walk. Maybe we let Obi Toppin walk and then we still retain Sticks. I don't know, but the front court spots and like all the forward spots on our team this upcoming season, even the 2-guard spot, is going to be very, very interesting come this offseason. And I just think like there's going to be a lot of roster shakeup come this offseason. And there's going to be guys who get traded, guys who don't come back that everybody loves. It's just, I think Ben Shepherd's going to be a guy who takes a serious leap forward next year. He looks like a good player already. It's just a matter of time, I think, with Ben Shepherd, until we see him really emerge into a true 3-and-D player. But I don't know, man. You know what? One can only hope that we can bring back like the main guys that we want. Bring back Sticks, bring back Siakam on hopefully team-friendly deals. But we're the Indiana Pacers. You know what I'm saying? We're not Miami. We're not Los Angeles, and we're not New York. So I don't know, man. We'll have to wait and see, but hopefully the Pacers also keep playing at this level. I really enjoy watching this team. Like, this is a fun team to watch when everybody's touching the ball. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, like, you watch a lot of other teams like the Celtics or the Lakers, it's like every time down the floor, it's going to be Tatum or Jaylen Brown or LeBron and AD. With at least with the Pacers, like, it could be anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tyrese Halliburton loves to pass the ball, and that's why this team is so fun to watch. But I don't know, man. I just wanted to air my thoughts out about the game the other night because a couple of people asked about it. But yeah, I think this team's going to have a very interesting offseason. That's one thing I do want to say also is like the offseason is going to be very, very interesting. So tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report, and out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.